Welcome to Lesson 4 in Unit 5, Money and Debts. We're going to start by doing the warm-up. Priya wants to buy 3 tickets for a concert. She has earned $135 and each ticket cost $50. She borrows the rest of the money she needs from a bank and buys the tickets. Number 1, ask how can you represent the amount of money that Priya has after buying the tickets? Number 2, how much more money will Priya need to earn back the money she borrowed from the bank? And number 3, how much money will she have after she pays back the money she borrowed from the bank? Pause the video now and take 2 to 3 minutes to work on each of these questions. Welcome back. So Priya wants to buy 3 tickets for a concert. So let's highlight that important information. She's buying 3 tickets. She has earned $135 and each ticket costs $50. She borrowed the rest of the money she needs from a bank and buys the tickets. So if we look at number 1, how can you represent the amount of money that Priya has after buying the tickets? Well, we can use some simple reasoning. So she buys 3 tickets at $50 each. We know 3 times 5 is 15, and we just add a 0 for the 50. So we have 150 minus 135, which would be a difference of 15. But because Priya had to borrow the money, this makes it negative. So our answer would be negative 15. Number 2, how much more money will Priya need to earn to pay back the money she borrowed from the bank? So she had to borrow the $15, so it would still be the $15 from the previous question, because she was negative $15, which means she owes the bank $15. Number 3, how much money will she have after she pays back the money she borrowed from the bank? So if she borrowed $15, we would represent that as negative 15 plus the 15 she earned back. Those two would cancel each other out, and she would have $0. All right, let's turn the page. All right, now we're going to look at activity 4.2, cafeteria food debt. At the beginning of the month, Kieran had $24 in his school cafeteria account. Use a variable to represent the unknown quantity in each transaction below, and write an equation to represent it. Then, represent each transaction on a number line. What is the unknown quantity in each case? I want you to take a moment and highlight any important details that you think are here. All right, so some important details that you could have highlighted is Kieran had $24 in his school account. We're going to be using a variable, which remember a variable is a letter that represents an unknown quantity. And then we're going to write an equation to represent each situation and draw a number line. So let's go ahead and look at number 1. So in the first week, he spent $16 on lunches. How much was in his account then? Well, he started off with $24. So I drew here a number line with 25 lines. So I could put 25, nope. So I can put 24 over here and 0 at the beginning. And then I can skip count by 2's every other line until I get up to 24. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and then 24. So we started with $24. So we're going to draw our first arrow on the line to represent our addition equation. So we're going up to 24 because we had $24 to start with, and then he spent $16 on lunch. So that we can count back, going 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So right above the 8 is where we're going to land with our second line, and we're going to just draw a back arrow. Now it's going to be a little bit easier to write our equation. So we have $24 and he spent 16. So that means we're going to subtract because he spent 16, he used $16. And we're going to have that equal S because that was the unknown amount. It wasn't a number given to us. But when we did this, we know S equals $8. All right, let's move on to number 2. So our new balance is $8. Then he deposited some more money and his account balance was $28. So here I have 29 lines on my number line. I'll write that over here for you, 29 lines. And I'm going to go ahead and number my number line. So starting at 0, and again, I'm going to skip count by 2s all the way up to the top. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. All right, so we know his starting amount, again, was $8. So I'm going to go from 0 to 8 and draw the line for where I know we started. And then he deposited enough cash to get him up to $28. So we can draw another line here and show how he went up to $28. So we had 8 and he added money to get to 28. So now we've got to write our equation. So we had 8. He deposited an unknown amount. So we have 8 plus the unknown is equal to 28. And if we do the math here, to go from 8 to 28, we have to add $20. So D is $20. All right, let's look at the next one. Then he spent $34 on lunches the next week. How much was in his account then? Okay, so we know from the last problem he had $28. So this line down here is definitely going to be 28. So let's start backwards and count by 2s. 28, 26, 24, 22, 20, 20, nope, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Oops, that looks more like a 6. 0, -2, -4, -6. All right, and this last line would have been -7. All right, so I drew a number line this time that can accommodate spending $34. So I went all the way up to 28 down to -7. So we're going to draw our first set of arrows here because we know we started with $28. So we are going to go from 0 up to 28. And then he spent $34. So we're going to start again at this, and we're going to count back. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. So our arrow is going to end up over here at the -6. So we can go ahead and write our equation. We know he had $28 and he spent 36, so we can take away that 36, and that's going to equal an unknown amount, the remainder in his account, so we can make that R. And his R, we know from doing the number line, is going to be -6. Try number 4 on your own. Pause the video and come back. All right, welcome back. So number 4, then he deposited enough money to pay off his debt in the cafeteria. How much did he deposit? Well, in the last question, we know he ended at -6. So down here, we're going to start at -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0. So we started at a negative amount of money. So we're going from 0 up to our -6. And then he deposited just enough money to pay off his debt. He didn't pay any extra, just enough to pay off his debt. So to get to 0, we have to go all the way back, which means he would have paid $6. So we can write our equation, -6 plus an unknown amount of money, so our deposit, equals 0. And we know our deposit here was $6 in order to make it even. I want you to take a moment and answer number 5 on your own, so pause the video and please return. Welcome back. Explain why it makes sense to use a negative number to represent Kieran's account balance when he owes money. It makes sense to use a negative number because he owes money that he doesn't have to an establishment. So he owes the bank $6, so we would put a negative in front to show that his balance is -6. All right, so he owes $6, so it makes sense that it would be negative as he didn't have the money. Okay, we are now on 4.3 and we're looking at a bank statement. So I want you to take a moment and just look at this, look it over, jot down anything you notice, anything you wonder. Okay, let's take a look at number 1. So if we put withdrawals and deposits in the same column, how can they be represented? So remember, withdrawal is to take money out. and a deposit is to put money in. So if they were in the same column, how can we represent those? Well, when we're taking out money, we are taking away, so we are subtracting. And if we take away from our total balance, it would be a negative. So it would make sense to put a negative in front of the number. As we are taking it out. All right. Andre withdraws $40 to buy a music player. What is his new balance? So we're going to have to look here. And at his last balance, so his balance is the last column, the most recent date. When we highlight that, we see that his final balance over here is $62.47. So if he withdraws another $40 from that, we would have negative 62.47 minus 40. So when we have a double negative like this, what we would do is just add the numbers together. So we would be able to do 62.47 plus 40. And when we add that up, we have 47 cents still. 210. So his new account balance, because it's a negative and a negative, it's going to stay negative. He would have negative $102.47. So he owes his bank $102.47. I want you to try number 3 on your own. If Andre deposits $100 in his account, will he still be in debt? How do you know? All right, welcome back. So if Andre deposits $100 in his account, will he still be in debt? So this is the same as saying negative 102.47 cents plus 100. Because there's a number greater on this side's the larger, the number is still going to be negative. So he'll have left over $2.47. So yes, he will still be in debt. And he will owe $2.47. See you next time for lesson 5.